Hello, and welcome to this video about something that might sound about as thrilling as watching paint dry. Licensing laws for home care businesses in the United States. I know, bureaucracy isn't exactly the life of the party. But trust me on this one, folks, understanding this stuff is crucial for your business, and frankly, for the well-being of the people you care for. We're talking about an industry built on trust. Families are welcoming you into their homes to care for their loved ones, often during some of the most vulnerable times in their lives. That's a huge responsibility. And it's precisely why we need to make sure everyone operating in this space is playing by the rules. So, buckle up as we unpack why these regulations aren't just bureaucratic hoops to jump through, but essential safeguards for everyone involved. Because let's be honest, nobody wants to end up on the wrong side of a lawsuit, especially when the stakes involve people's health and safety. Now, when we talk about licensing laws in the home care industry, we're essentially talking about a set of rules and regulations that dictate how your business operates. These laws will operate in conjunction with your agency's policy and procedures manual, which the state also requires you have in place. Think of it like the instruction manual you desperately wish you'd read before putting together that some assembly-required bookshelf. Except, instead of ending up with a wobbly bookcase and a surplus of Allen wrenches, ignoring these rules could have far more serious consequences. These laws cover everything from the qualifications of your staff to the services you can provide, and even the way you keep records. And sure, navigating this regulatory maze can feel like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube blindfolded while riding a unicycle, but there's a very good reason these rules exist. Essentially, these laws are in place to ensure that anyone providing care in a home setting has met or exceeded certain standards. It's about protecting vulnerable individuals from neglect, abuse, or frankly, just plain incompetence. These laws are best practices and many times based on common sense. It's about making sure that when a family hires your agency, they can have confidence knowing you're not just some fly-by-night operation. Now let's talk about what happens when you decide to play a game of regulatory roulette and ignore these licensing laws. Spoiler alert, it's not pretty. We're talking hefty fines that'll make your bank account weep, lawsuits that could bankrupt your business faster than you can say negligence, and a whole lot of negative publicity that'll make attracting clients about as easy as herding cats. And look, I get it. Sometimes these regulations can feel like they were written in a language only understood by bureaucrats. But ignorance, my friends, is not a legal defense. You need to know the rules of the game, even if you think they're needlessly complicated. So, what can you do to avoid becoming a cautionary tale? First and foremost, educate yourself. Familiarize yourself with your state's specific licensing requirements. There are resources available, folks. Don't be afraid to reach out to industry associations, consult with a lawyer who specializes in healthcare regulations, or even just spend some quality time with your state's Department of Health website or appropriate licensing bureau. Now, for those of you operating in multiple states, I know what you're thinking. Oh, you think navigating one state's licensing laws is tough. Hold my beer while I try to juggle the regulations of 5 different states, each with its own unique brand of bureaucratic madness. And you know what, that's fair. Welcome to the wonderful world of running a multi-state home care business, where the complexity multiplies faster than you can say, deficiency tag. But fear not, my friends, it's not an impossible task. It just requires a bit more organization, and maybe a larger corkboard with a more intricate web of string connecting various deadlines and requirements, or the electronic equivalent. One of the best things you can do is centralize your compliance efforts. Create a system for tracking licenses across all states, set reminders for renewal deadlines, and make sure your staff is up to date on the specific requirements for each state they operate in. Remember, in this game, organization is key. Now let's talk about why all this matters beyond just avoiding legal trouble. Because here's the thing. Being licensed and compliant isn't just about checking boxes on a government form, it's about building trust and credibility with your clients. Think about it from the perspective of a family looking for care for their loved one. They're already dealing with a stressful and emotional situation. The last thing they need is the added worry of whether the agency they're hiring is legitimate and trustworthy. By being licensed and compliant, you're essentially sending a clear message. We're the real deal. We've met rigorous standards, and we're committed to providing safe and ethical care. It's a powerful signal that can give families peace of mind. Check. Now let's talk about accreditation. Think of this as the Michelin star of the home care world. It's like licensing, but on a whole other level. It's like voluntarily signing up for a surprise inspection from Gordon Ramsay, except instead of yelling about raw chicken and subpar risotto, they're scrutinizing your infection control protocols and medication management procedures. Look, I get it. Accreditation is a rigorous process. It requires time, effort, and resources. But the benefits can be substantial. It's a way to demonstrate your agency's commitment to excellence, to set yourself apart from the competition, and to attract top-tier talent. And while accreditation might not be mandatory in your state, or for your particular agency, it's a powerful marketing tool that can give you a competitive edge. In an industry where reputation is everything, accreditation is a gold star standard that can make all the difference. Now, for those of you who enjoy a good cautionary tale, let's dive into some real-world examples of what can happen when home care agencies decide to play fast and loose with the rules. And let me tell you folks, these stories are about as far from a fairy tale ending as you can get. We've seen agencies slapped with hefty fines for employing unlicensed caregivers, filing false claims, essentially turning their business into a very expensive game of Jenga, where the blocks are made of $100 bills. And it's not just about the financial hit. We've seen agencies shut down, their licenses revoked, their reputations tarnished, all because they decided to cut corners, or even worse, put profit over people. These are not isolated incidents, folks. These are real consequences that can have a devastating impact on you, your business, your employees, and most importantly, the people you're entrusted to care for. Now I know what you're thinking. This all sounds terrifying. I'm going to go lock myself in a room and never provide home care services again. And to that I say, please don't do that. We need ethical and compassionate providers like you. The key takeaway here is not to be immobilized by fear, but to be empowered by knowledge. Understand the specific laws in your state, even if home care agency licensing isn't currently required where you are located. Yes, you heard correctly, there are still a handful of states in the U.S. that do not require home care agencies to hold a state license to care for vulnerable people. Because here's the thing about regulations, they tend to change, and it is up to you, the agency owner and your administrator, to know when these changes occur. What's not required today might be mandatory tomorrow. So, stay informed, stay vigilant, and stay ahead of the curve. And remember, compliance isn't just a legal obligation, it's a moral imperative. It's about protecting the most vulnerable members of our society and ensuring that everyone has access to safe, high-quality care. So there you have it. Licensing laws might not be the most glamorous aspect of running a home care business, but they are undeniably crucial. They are the foundation upon which trust is built, ensuring the safety and well-being of both clients and caregivers. Ignoring these regulations isn't just risky, it's irresponsible. The potential consequences, legal, financial, and reputational, are simply not worth the gamble. Remember, your business is more than just a profit-making venture. It's a vital service that impacts real people's lives. Stay informed, stay compliant, and protect the future of your business. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe to the channel for additional valuable content.